All right. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to our
Hello.
TokiTV, our gathering every Sunday for Toki's Legacy. Um, Gathering today, we've had some sad news this week, so we're just going to acknowledge that right away, and we're going to talk a little bit about the short life of L128. I don't know that there's a final decision on whether L128 has made it, Howard, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's just briefly go around and say hi to everyone. Welcome, everyone. Let's start with Ula, who's with us from Germany. Thanks for being with us, Ula.
Yeah, hi. Nice to see you all again. Yeah, it's my first time to be with you, and I'm very honored that you asked me.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
We all bonded. I mean, we've all bonded just in throughout the years, but we had the opportunity to bond in person with Ula, and just what a magnificent, beautiful human being. So thanks for being with us, Ula. Peggy, how
You're
are you?
welcome.
I'm doing fine. Very grateful for everybody here and everybody who's doing things to help the Southern resident orcas. And I must admit that it's been also a tough time for me with the news about L128. So just holding them all in my heart. Yes, thank you.
Ma's dogs are welcoming you to Toki TV. Christina, how are you?
I'm hanging in there too. Just trying to turn my emotions into actions. So I'm doing something to help breach those dams. But I'm okay. I mean, I'm here. I'm happy to be here with you people on and off the screen because you're all beautiful souls. Mwah.
Thank you. Thanks for being with us. Maria, I sent you a link if by any strange chance you want to hop on. Please do. Brandy, how are you?
Doing better than I was a couple of days ago. I think the same thing. I think because we are all so connected that we, it was a collective grief, even though a lot of us are miles apart. But same thing, like Christina said, I'm going to get into action. Like after we're done today, I've got my little bag here with my postcards in it and some signs, and I'm putting a table in front of Albertsons between 3 and 5. And
Yeah.
just
Good
gonna
job.
try and carry that message the best that we can.
Thanks, Brandy. Ma, how are you?
You know what? I really don't know. I'm just totally exhausted, to be honest. Just after the storm, obviously the hurricane, the weeks of preparation for it, and then the stress involved of wondering what's going to happen. And just being so relieved and grateful that we didn't get any severe damage. And then it's sort of, you start to relax a little bit, and then you've got to clean up afterwards. And it's just everybody's exhausted. And then the news about 128, to be honest with you, just knocked me for six. But yeah, like you guys, my initial knee-jerk reaction is, what can I do? What more can we do? That's why we're here. The collective grief, and as they say, each soul can make a difference. It doesn't matter how small it is, and so we've just got to make a difference.
Thanks, Ma. Deb Cruz.
I'm pretty much with everybody else. It's been a rather long 2 weeks. Even though I may not be in Florida, we've got family members scattered all through both hurricanes, and so that was kind of tests your patience and your energy levels. We also did a session on Friday on the Indian boarding schools, and now L28 is breaking my heart. and I'm angry. Yeah.
Annette, are you there?
I'm so sorry. I'm muted myself. I was just sharing that I'm in that space of anger too with Deb Cruz, and I'm sure it's for the same reason as we know why this is happening, yet it keeps happening because we're not reaching the dams. So, Howard, I want to share a video before we get into the topic, the conversation today, but just check in with you as well. Are you doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It has been a tumultuous couple of weeks for sure. I've been watching the hurricane, and Marcia and Q were right in the middle of it. But also, I just wanted to say that lead in to TokiTV that you put together, Annette, it made me miss Toki all the more. Just those scenes of her reminded me how much I cared in care. So this is in her honor. This is Toki's legacy. This is what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Thanks, Howard, for saying that. I think it was Christina that I was talking to. Yeah, it was last night. And this, anytime there's something with her family, or it just makes you raw all over again. Like that wound that we talk about that is so deep. Yeah, Cindy, I totally get it. Like it's such a deep wound, and then something happens, and it's like the wound is never gone, but that scab just gets yanked, and it takes you right back to those feelings and sadness and pain and hurt and love and all those crazy things that grief has you do, and that's where we are, and that's probably where we're going to be for a minute, but. Just to take us back, and this might be hard to watch today, but just to take us back on the 16th, this beautiful video that was shared announcing L128. So I'm going to share that. Howard, I'm going to turn it over to you.
After that, what a sweet, cute little baby. That was just so endearing, so beautiful to see, only to be followed by what we found out from the Center for Whale Research from October 5th, when Mark Mallison went all the way out 50, 60 miles out from Victoria, out to the west end of Strait of Juan de Fuca, out to Swiftsure Bank, which is where L-Pod has been most of the time, to our knowledge. There's nobody out there on a regular basis, but it was a flat, calm day. So he took the 3-hour or so boat ride out there, and what he found was devastating. And to me, on this end, just hearing about it, but for Mark especially, and that's even reflected in the Center for Whale Research Encounter report for October 5th, that he was, I forget the wording, but emotionally drained. He was just had been hit by this being witness to the last, maybe the last minutes from the sound of his description of little L128. There are photos with the baby swimming beside L83, not the mom, another female about the same age. So we can wonder how that happened. One guess would be that mom L90 didn't have more milk, just was not able to nurse the baby any further. And that may have been going on for days. So L83 brought the baby over to Mark. And yeah, that's the encounter report. That's the baby with L83, not mom L90. And from the description that she brought the baby right over to him, to the boat, right beside, and went right alongside the boat and kind of shook the baby a little bit. And that might have been to revive the baby, or, and here I'm going out on thin ice, but it might have been telling Mark to see this, to notice what they're going through, that they're losing their young. L90 is 31 years old and has probably had miscarriages, because the usual birthing begins at around age 14 or 15. So this was a compounded tragedy for the mom and for Mark, especially considering that he was the one who found J35 TokiTV that day in July of 2018, when she gave birth and her baby died right before his eyes. So he is very shook up, from what I understand. I haven't talked to him, but the message is clear. They need more nutrition. They need more calories. They need more king salmon. They need more big fish. The science has been clear for over 20 years. That's exactly what they need, and they're not there in the numbers that they need. There are other fish. They've been going after sablefish, which are commercially harvested fish, and other coho and chum salmon, but that's not enough. It's not in terms of, per unit of effort, as it's called, for the work it takes to catch those little fish that have a lower caloric value. It is just too much work for too little nutrition. And eventually they just can't sustain themselves. And of course, when the females become pregnant, it's 17 or 18 months that they're eating for two, and then another year of nursing. And that requires almost twice as much as normal. And so they are the most vulnerable. There are so many examples. When J20 washed up near Comox 10 years ago, I'm not sure, but she was in the midst of miscarrying, and that ended her life as well as the baby's. But that's just lack of sufficient nutrition to feed that baby. So we know the problem and we know the solutions. Restore those salmon, and the biggest bang for the buck, the lowest hanging fruit, the most obvious thing that needs to be done is those 4 lower Snake River dams have got to come out. They have to. The holdup is political, economic, but it is in disregard, complete disregard of these orcas and what they desperately need. We can talk about that. I mean, there are certain political figures, certainly the Biden White House can overcome all the difficulties, but there is resistance right here in Washington too. Our senatorial office holders are holding it up because it's very, very bad politics to do something that is not approved by the in-state senatorial representatives. So that's for the politicians to figure out, but it's also for the people to weigh in on. For us, those postcards that you're taking to the supermarket, those are fantastic. That's what we need to do, just to generate more and more discussion, bring it right up into people's radar that this needs to be done. So I so appreciate all of you for doing that. There's more to this story though, and it verges on a kind of a revolutionary new scientific understanding of orcas, and there's a lot of resistance to that too, because there's always for 1,000 years in Western civilization science, there's been this separation of humans from all other animals. There can't be any communication or any equality, any sort of side by side acceptance of them, of any other animals. Well, I'm here to tell you, orcas are violating that. They are reaching out. And when I read that report from Mark Mallison, I immediately thought, they're trying to send a message. They're trying to tell him so that he will tell the world. Because, of course, they know him. He's been out with them hundreds of times over a couple of decades. And they know, I believe, they know he tells people that he is there representing humanity in a sense to them. And so L83 was trying to tell him, you know, it's your people who have done this to our people by depriving us of food. And that needs to change. That needs to stop. And this is revolutionary science, you know, but it's not the only case. When there are enough anecdotes that say the same thing, they become data. They become actual science. There's a pattern there that we're seeing. And of course, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's with her young one for 17 days all around the San Juan Islands, where the world watched. There were researchers out there, but there were cameras, and everybody saw what was happening, and that message was received all around the world. And that's just not the only case either. There are just so many other times when orcas have really seemed to reach out, to want to tell us something. And I've been trying to say, you know, we all know about the Iberian orcas off Portugal and Spain around Gibraltar that have been systematically disabling sailboats. And it's not an attack. Nobody on board has ever said they felt threatened, except that their boat was disabled by the rudders being slammed around and bitten off. And I see that as a very precise way of delivering a message. And you have to consider that population of Iberian orcas. They're down to, some say down to about 25 in the whole population. That's not sustainable. And we have to realize that they know that. They know what they're facing, and they know why. It's very parallel with what's happening here. It's a depletion of their food source, the bluefin tuna, over the decades. And I think they're trying to tell us. It's just the only way they know how. They can't write an email. You know, they can't speak English, but they can get our attention in a way that, you know, is not just, you know, some kind of attack. It's a very precise, calculated move, repeated over and over. It's been 4 years now. They've been doing the same thing and no more. And they are trying to tell us that they need help. They need us to care about their family. That's what it is. It's an extended family. Lots of mothers and grandmothers and aunts and uncles and kids and cousins, and, you know, they're all related. So they know what's happening, and the southern residents know what's happening. Ken said for 20 years, since the late 90s, that they were going to go extinct. The southern residents were going to dwindle until they're no more. unless we restore those salmon. That's what needs to be done. And of course, there are lots of efforts all over the place. The Elwha dams were removed. Now the Klamath dams are removed, and they're both great successes. They're bringing up lots of salmon and steelhead up. The Klamath is yet to be in numbers because that was only last week that they were removed. But those are great efforts. There have been a couple of dams in the Cascades just east of us that have been removed. There's lots of small scale restorations in Hood Canal. There's great work being done there. Those are helping without a doubt, but it's just not enough. Do you want to play that clip, Annette? And you know, it's a little repetitious now, but
Yep. Let's play
it's on TV.
Sadly, that could be the case after biologists spotted that baby orca looking extremely weak and thin in our waters just up north off the west coast of Washington. Now, take a look. This is L128, who biologists say had gone limp multiple times during 2 sightings. They realized it when one of the adult orcas carried the calf to the research boat and began to jiggle the calf. Now, the biologists believe the calf had stopped breathing, and the wiggling was the adult attempting to revive it. Now, we spoke to the co-founder of the Orca Network, who says it's almost like they were communicating with the boat.
That's the research boat that's been out with them, you know, probably hundreds of times. And so they know Mark and they know that boat. So it was as if to give a message to us, to humanity, do something for this struggling community of whales.
And to make this even sadder, biologists say the calf's mother, L90, is the last surviving member of her matriline. And at 31 years old last month, L128 was her first baby. So a lot of people are really just hoping this little one can pull through. But coming up.
Yeah.
Oh.
And people there's another clip, and I'll try to play that in a little while from the news. It just, people are just, they're devastated by it. You know, like the people who care are just devastated, and everyone's saying the same things. You know, it's the politicians, it's money, it's what can we do? What can we do? After I show this clip, we'll talk to Peggy a little bit too about some of the things that Peggy has on her pages, that what can we do? Because she has things outlined very clearly and organized for us on actions that we can take. Heather's putting some stuff up right now. The Orca Recovery Coordinator phone number. Let's call. You know, Sk'aliCh'elh was saying, you know, her message loud and clear is from Toki is to work harder and speak louder. And all of your voices that I see on the screen and everybody watching, I know your voices are loud, but it's time for us to start screaming. I mean, it's we gotta speak louder. Let me see if I can share this screen here. I'm having tech issues this morning as well, so bear with me for just 1 second. And here we go. I don't know why it won't do the.
Why? Arrow 7 Samantha Lamibao is live after taking a closer look into what all is causing this. Samantha, when will biologists know if this calf is still alive?
Well, protocol is seeing the mom without her calf on 2 different encounters. And right now for that baby orca, things are just not looking too good, who is last seen in our waters looking weak and thin.
It was well examined and looked good.
This video is of newborn orca L128 swimming with its mom near the San Juan Islands. And now, just a few weeks later, biologists spotted the calf in really bad shape.
It was wrinkly and lumpy, and the skull was
showing.
It was unwelcomed news for orca lovers on Seattle's waterfront on Friday.
It's sad.
How does it feel to feel our planet dying?
Ain't no we could do about it.
The numbers are like drastically going down.
And incredibly devastating for Orca Network co-founder Howard Garrett,
We had such high hopes in this calf.
who says L128, the first southern resident calf in 2 years, is struggling to survive. Researchers realized it last week when an adult orca carried the calf to a research boat trying to revive it.
It was as if to give a message to us, to humanity. Do something for this struggling community of whales.
Garrett says it's the strain on their Chinook salmon supply that's a big reason for the drop in orca numbers, especially young ones.
They're trying to make it up with other species of salmon and other fish out there, but they don't have the nutritional value, and there's much more work per calorie.
This is similar to what we saw in 2018 when TokiTV touched the hearts of people nationwide, carrying her dead calf for more than 17 days. At this rate, Howard says our southern residents will continue to suffer if nothing changes.
We're watching this population go extinct one by one, and the inability to bring new calves, new young ones into the world is the issue.
Experts say that pods need to have at least 2 to 3 calves a year just to sustain those levels. But there are ways that you can help. They say if you can help with salmon habitat restoration, supporting those organizations, or it's easy as just using less non-toxic cleaning supplies to take those toxic pollutants out of the environment. Live in Seattle, Samantha Meebaugh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That covers a lot and gives good information to the public.
I'm reading and talking at the same time. We have to breach the dams. It's not, Deb Allers made a comment, says, because the federal government is judge, jury, and executioner with the Snake River dams. There are powerful special interests with big money, for example, the public utilities. And there she goes. They put it up. Thanks to, it's, I think about with TokiTV, and I think, the news coverage of TokiTV and her, tour of grief. And they talked about it every single day for 17 days, and people really cared. And I'm not saying people only cared for 17 days, but it was in their face. And we have to keep it in their face. The Snake and the Whale. I want that movie out. And so what do we need to do to help with that? We're here to help. What can we do? Who do we need to talk to? How can we support? We have to keep this in the public eye if we want the public to speak up. And how else can we do that? Anyone who has an idea on how to do that, please share. Peggy.
I don't have any insight really on what's going on with the delay on getting this this film documentary shown. However, I've been in touch with somebody with one of the regional American Cetacean Societies, and he said that ACS is, I guess, working on hosting screenings of co-extinction. And he said that he'd have their person who's in charge of, I guess, getting these screenings to happen to reach out to me. There's a possibility I might be able to secure a venue. I'm not sure what the licensing fees are to actually screen a film. In general, it seems like because I've hosted other film screenings, it seems like roughly $100, but I don't know yet. And while we're waiting, because we can't keep waiting, to at least start doing things like hosting screenings of co-extinction and having these postcards at our tables. And of course, Biden being the top priority at this time, but also these senators, Cantwell and Murray. And we've got a list of people to contact by priority that Heather Nicholson was so generous with her time to help me with organizing. Okay, this is the most important. That's next priority. That's next, so that when people look at this list, they'll first at least do the most, important at this time. So we've got to get something going now. We've been waiting too long for this film to come out, and it will in time. But in the meantime, let's do something else. Let's look into the screening of coextinction, and there's in Carpinteria, which is a pretty small community. We have a population of about under 15,000. There's a women's club, and I'm friends with the sisters that run that, and they have an area that can be a screening location. And I actually screened the Cove there, and so I'm going to discuss with them the possibility, because then it wouldn't be as expensive as renting out a theater. And so there's options out there for people to reach out and think of places, in the community where they might be able to host a screening for not as much money, or if they want to go full on and rent out a theater and then charge admission. But I just want everybody to see it. So I really like the screenings that I've hosted in New Zealand have been free, because the venue has been affordable and the licensing fee has been affordable, or even waived depending on the film. And I even here are a few of the films that I've hosted. I wasn't able to host Seaspiracy because of Netflix issues, but Eating Our Way to Extinction, Milked, Deep Rising, which is about seabed mining. It's possible to do that, and it just takes a little bit of dedication. And if anybody has any questions, you can, of course, contact me about what is involved in organizing film screenings. And then you can set up your table, get, of course, volunteers to help work with you on this, because not one person can do it all. I said in the previous time I spoke, it takes a village. And we need to call on every member of our village now to step it up, because time is running out, and it's really heartbreaking. And I wanted to just ask Howard. I'm working on this origami orca mobile, and I wanted to share here. I'm doing various things, but I'm making these orcas, like, I guess they're like effigies. It's sorry about the screen thing. And so this is origami orca. This is the ocean sun. And I tried to replicate her saddle patch.
Beautiful.
I've done that with all of the surviving orcas right now. And then I decided that I also wanted to honor the ones that have passed in the past year. And this is TokiTV.
Oh, wow.
The other side is a piece of the cedar that we had for her celebration of life in August. So I'm working on this, and I'm of course going to send this to Biden's office. But it's been a very educational thing for me, because I have printed out from Orca Conservancy's site, and I also found a lot of resources on Orca Network today. It's hard to, okay, here we go. So this is a page showing the various matrilines, and I see that from the L47s, the Muncher L47 is deceased. I'm not sure when Muncher passed, but L83 Moonlight appears to have become the matriarch for the L47s. Is that correct?
Interesting. Yeah, she's a couple of years older than L90.
Yeah, and so she's about 34 years old, and I was going, oh, so it looks like she's the matriarch of L47, and she came in to help L90.
Right.
These beings are so intelligent.
Right.
They just, and they support each other, and
they are trying to reach out to us. I think she is like the delegate of her family.
Yeah.
To get us to do something, to do many things, to do whatever it takes to bring back the fish. They see the correlation. They know when the fish began disappearing, and they saw a lot of the human activities. They probably can't see the whole scope of it up the Snake River, but they certainly know that it was when we appeared that their fish disappeared, essentially. Thank you, Peggy. That's all really good, and I love your origami orcas. They're beautiful.
Peggy.
Thank
Guys, go
you.
to cetaceans.org, please, and check out Peggy's site there, and very clear actions you can take for multiple populations. But there's some very clear steps. There's petitions. You guys just click on those petitions and you can sign them. We always talk about letter writing, how much more important it is to write that letter. Take some time, you guys, and write that letter and keep sending them. There's an entire activist pack that you can download, and it's just very detailed. I mean, when people say, what can we do? If you haven't done these, do it. If you've done them, do it again. Because those are things you can do, and they're outlined. Again, thank you, Peggy, for making that easy for folks, because people want to help. It's a link, there's a couple links, guys. There's a download button. Just do it, please. Everyone who's watching today, please go and download that if you have not, and redo it. It's not showing with your background there, Peggy, but you guys got to check out.
It's like some kind of crazy settings. Okay, turn off the background.
Well, there. So Brandy's holding them up for you. Brandy has them printed.
There we go.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Randy. Yeah, Brandy, thank you. Woohoo!
Just things you guys can do. I mean, I don't know. Here, let me take the comment off. And if you're not on your phone, or screenshot this, let's see. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Scan that. I'll leave it up for just a minute. You guys scan that, what you see on the screen. And if not, it's easy. Type in cetaceans.org. It's Peggy can't make it any more easier than she has. It's very easy. There's the postcards. Absolutely. There you go. You can download them. They have why breach the lower Snake River dams in the front. They have the address pre-written there for you. You can send some other ones. I mean, geez, it's right there. What can you do? You can do that. So please go do that today. Other steps, of course, we're going to keep doing it, keep reaching out. Jason Momoa, to all these people who we know care, and it does need more attention. Here's another, just a thought. We post on our pages and everyone knows our stuff, right? All of our friends are just like, there they go again. But the videos, the links, share those on comments to other things that are like-minded. You know what I mean? I'm not saying go spam everybody with it, but if there's a group or a conversation happening, go in the comment and share some links for people. We have to get more people involved. Ma?
Yeah, you're totally on the same lines as my initial thought was, what else can we do? And today I just thought, well, what about the likes of the bigger animal organizations and bigger animal sanctuaries of other animals, like the elephant sanctuaries that have gone through this process? But obviously that's what we're looking to do. Can they actually get on board with us? Can reach out to other big organizations like PETA, so that we get their members to send postcards and texts and everything to President Biden? That was my way of thinking. And the other thing I'd like to ask everyone to do is, when you see me, I've literally, for the last 6 weeks, all I've been doing is tagging Jason Momoa in everything that I've posted. And there's a whole list of taglines that I've been using that I will post on my page or on this page, if that's okay. If you can just copy paste those, and anything to do with this subject, just tag him on everything. And it's, that breach the dams, free the snake, Toki's family, anything like that, and in the hopes that it will catch his eye. As I say, we do know that the guitar has been delivered, but unfortunately he's traveling around the world right now, so when it ever catches up with him, I don't know, but he will get it eventually. It's just so frustrating that it's been since August now. And we needed help like yesterday, last week. And it's really frustrated, angry, all the above. So if you could help me do that, I'd really appreciate it. And I don't know what you think, and ask everyone about trying to contact other big organisations. And I did actually today with this programme, and hope some of them are watching.
Keep tagging folks. If you guys know someone, and even if you don't know, think of an organization that have a similar interest, or even if they don't, just make a call. Just make a call, make sure people are aware. If they want to set up a meeting to become aware, or they want to be briefed on it, I'm sure we can easily get this panel and other folks on a Zoom call to bring other organizations into awareness and have them have the background they need, like those talking points, Howard, we've used before. I mean, the talking points are so important when you're getting out there and you're talking to people at the Albertsons, at the farmers market, at the, wherever you're at. Having those things printed for people to take with them is also super helpful. Peggy shared a video, and I want to make sure we have time to show it. It's about 7 minutes, I think you said, Christina. This is another video. We'll watch it together before we end. And yeah, I think that's the one, Peggy. So I'm going to share that now. And this is also something, we'll put the link in, and you guys could just share this to everyone. So let's see if I can share my screen this way. And I do want to say this. The election's coming up and everyone's like, the attention is, you know what? So what? Like, so what if people are paying attention to that? Make them pay attention to this through this whole entire time, and during and after. And unlike the election, let's not let it do this. Let's just keep it up here. Keep raising awareness, guys, and keep sharing stuff. People are watching now. People are going to watch later. Like, we don't have to wait to share this. So, right, let me see if I can do this. All right, here we go.
If you think about the way a river works in a landscape, it essentially functions as the circulatory system. It drains the waste products off of the land. And that sediment is the stuff that basically structures habitat in rivers. And then once it gets to the coast, it builds beaches. It creates the offshore environments. That flow of material is incredibly important ecologically. And building dams disrupts that. But there's another aspect to rivers in terms of flow back upstream that most people don't tend to think about. And in the Northwest, that's greatly mediated by salmon. Because when salmon leave their native streams, they're little fish. When they come back a couple years later, they're huge. They put on like 90%, 95% of their body mass in the marine environment. And what that essentially means is that a large fish run, the kind of fish runs we had historically in the Northwest, you can view as a nitrogen pump that's basically scavenging food out of the oceans and bringing it back on land. It feeds the bugs, the trees in the forest, they feed the eagles, they feed the bears, essentially fertilizing their own world. Anything that blocks a river, like a dam does, limit their access to part of the world that they need to complete their life cycle.
The 4 dams in the Snake River in the upper reaches of the Columbia Basin are a clear overshoot. And they are, in my judgment, largely responsible for the destruction of the salmon runs that we used to see all the way up into the Rocky Mountains of Idaho.
The Snake River Basin holds today the largest intact remaining set of pristine salmon habitat left in the lower 48. We're talking over 5,000 miles of stream habitat in central Idaho alone. if we took out the 4 lower Snake River dams, salmon and steelhead would have access back into all those areas.
There should not be 4 dams on the lower Snake River, choking out the most important, wildest salmon refuge left. 5,500 miles of high elevation streams, more resistance to global warming than any other watershed. If the salmon runs were restored, that would be the jumping off point to this unbelievable wilderness nexus that is really one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Dams change the habitat. When you disturb the habitat, it can be detrimental to the native fishes and beneficial to non-native fishes. The river is no longer a river, it's a lake, and the lakes are full of predators that like nothing better than to eat a nice young salmon smolt. The Pacific Northwest right now, according to the Oregonian newspaper, spends $1 billion a year on salmon recovery, and they're not getting very much for it. There are study after study now that are showing that hatcheries present on the river reduce the survival of the wild fish.
The primary purpose for these dams always was transportation. It was to make Lewiston, Idaho a seaport.
The only reason it's just slightly cheaper to send wheat down the river rather than putting it on the railroad, which runs right along the river corridor, is because of the subsidies. Given the fiscal condition of this country, the budget issues, now's the time simply to remove that subsidy. And you'll find the wheat growers doing very well on the railroad.
A dam is a means to an end, and we've got it the other way around now. We look at them as end states. They're built, they're there, they're going to stay there forever. And their intent was to increase the economic output of a region in the country. And so when they stop doing that, they're no longer viable. A lot of the work that we've done on the economics and costs shows that if you keep the dams, the national economy is losing at least $150 million a year. These 4 dams are really expensive to operate. And the minute they diverge from that end state that you're after, you ought to look at them as just, wait, we need another tool here. Is it wind energy? Is it solar panels? Let's look at this as a means, not an end.
The beautiful thing about salmon is that if you look at their history, they're incredibly resilient. I mean, if you give them half a chance, they can come back.
When you remove the dam and the river becomes a river again, the complexity begins to reappear.
There's a ripple effect of restoration that moves all the way through the river basin, all the way upstream.
Removal of the lower Snake River dams is one of the big jewels embedded in the holy grail of salmon recovery.
This would be the biggest watershed restoration in North America, if not on Earth, if we did this.
It's the largest possible salmon recovery venture of which humanity is capable, would be simply the removal of those 4 dams.
Thank you, Peggy, for sharing that.
Sure. Thank you for showing it, Annette. This video was actually made, I think about 10 years ago or something. You know, as we saw our dear James Waddell was on there, and bless and thank him for all of his years of dedication. And so more people still need to see that short film. It's 7 minutes and 29 seconds, and I think that anybody who cares about the orcas and TokiTV's family, TokiTV's legacy, needs to see that and take action and take real action out there. We need to really step it up. Yeah.
We do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate everybody joining today and asking what we can do. We were actually going to take this week off again because we all have like a bazillion things going on in our lives, but this is really important. And so, Ula, thank you for staying up late. I know it's super late over there, but for being with us, because your voice has always been heard. You're a powerful voice. And I think it's nice to see you on here with us because you've been doing the work for so many years in so many different areas. So I just want to acknowledge that. Ma's putting up there the hashtags. I'm going to run those at the bottom too. Feel free to rewatch this again. Take a screenshot of this. These are good hashtags to be putting on your posts to get people's attention. Heather Nicholson's posting a bunch of stuff, guys, so rewatch this again. Heather, we'll probably have you on maybe next week or the week after. Like, we need to, what do we need to do? We need to, I don't know. Maybe we meet this week, guys, and see what is it that we can do as a team to get more people involved, to get more action items set up for people. Again, Peggy'sCetaceans.org. You guys, please go there. It's spelled out for you. It's so easy. Howard?
Yeah, this is probably a good time to mention that we're having a free webinar, and you can sign up on our website. That'll be October 15th, called Uncovering Recovery, which is a discussion of how recovery efforts of salmon are doing and how much the southern residents are or are not benefiting. And speakers include Raynell Morris and Joe Gatos and Michael Weiss and Natalie Sanderson. You may remember she was on TokiTV, 14-year-old. She reminds me of London Fletcher, speaks from the heart, and Stephanie Raymond of Orca Network. So they'll be talking about how recovery is actually progressing or not. So I did want to mention that. There we go. Thank you. And then have we got a minute to mention the Fijian orcas?
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that.
It's a different story. It's kind of exciting to me. Maybe that's because I'm an orca dork, but this is the discovery of an entirely new population of orcas that has not been seen before. And the way that we know that they're new and different is that many of them don't have any saddle patch at all. You can't do photo ID based on saddle patch because they ain't got none. So it's just a really interesting discovery. Of course, they've been there forever, thousands, maybe millions of years, who knows? But they are just now finally documented. There it is, by scientists who got photos, and Ingrid Visser, who wrote up a paper to publish about them. And this is exciting to me, and it just reinforces that orcas around the world form into communities, into extended families that are like tribes, and they are found everywhere. And a lot of them have not been found yet. And this is one that is now just now, last week, really announced to the world. And I just find that kind of exciting. And that's the update on the uplifting orca news of the week.
Thanks, Howard, for sharing that. And I want to point out, if you look at the news article, I kind of left it there at the end of the article, on a related article. So it's nice to see that there's a link on this Yahoo News link. There's also the related link of Race to Save Endangered Orca Population from Starvation. And that's going to take you to more articles. about the southern residents. So it's nice to see those kind of things, right? Those kind of things to get links. So thank you, Howard, for that. And then what you guys are doing, I'll put the link back up. It's let me reopen it so I can share this tab with folks. And I think we put it in the comments already. But for people looking for that, it's givebutter.com/RRV. Let me try to save this. There we go. RRVJ. Oops. Deb Cruz and I are having a button war here. givebutter.com/RRVJYM. And right when you go there, you guys, there's a register link at the top right. It's free. And then they'll send you a Zoom link. So I think everyone should do that. And that's Tuesday. Again, that's Tuesday the 15th from 6 to 8, Howard.
Right.
And Pacific time. So a little later for you, Ola. Maybe we could get a recording or something like that. That might be nice. But yeah, I think everybody should check that out. So maybe we can all hang out again on Tuesday night watching that.
Yeah, it will be a little bit late for me, but maybe I can watch it the other day. So
There
it
you
would be
go.
nice to see.
Howard, will they be recorded?
I'm sure it will.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Howard.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
get
you.
that to you, Ulla.
Yeah.
Awesome. Howard, I'm going to let you just close it out. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Don't forget cetaceans.org. Please check that out. Let's all touch base this week and see what we can do to maybe get some more awareness for next week. But for now, you guys, that's the place to go, cetaceans.org. Download the activist pack. I will share this link that we played the video of. I will share that on here on this thread. So you guys please go through and share that. Or maybe I'll just make a new one that might be easier for you guys to hit share. However, we can make it easy. Before we let Howard end, though, I'm so sorry. I do want to just go around the room and see if anyone else has anything else to say. Ola, anything to close out?
Yes, it's so easy to use all the addresses to write something. Thank you, Peggy, for doing this. So making it so easy for us. Yeah. People, come on, write your letter or send an email. It's so easy. Yeah. So everyone can help.
Thanks, Ola.
You're welcome.
Brandy?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think what's amazing to me, and I've talked to Christina about this, a lot of people don't even know about the southern residents as far as, oh, they only eat salmon? Oh, I thought they all ate the same things. And it's amazing just the conversations that, I engage in, and that's the biggest thing. It's like spreading that awareness, just having random conversations. I take my postcards with me when I go to patients, when I go to draw their blood. Someone commented about my whale tail yesterday, and it started a whole conversation. And she didn't even know. She had no clue. So that, keep tagging everybody. Just tag and post and share links and, yeah, everything, anything.
Thanks, Brandy. Peggy?
Thank you again, Annette, for having me on the show today. And yeah, kudos to everybody who is working on the ground. Thank you so much, Brandy and Christina and everybody everyone who's out there doing this. Like I said, it takes a village, and we really do need to get all the villagers on board. And yeah, I just really appreciate everyone here. Thank you. And I'm still a little bit, I come in and out of mourning from the sadness about L128, and I'm relatively new on the block. It wasn't until 2018 when I learned, I actually saw TokiTV and I saw Scarlet when I was on San Juan Island for Superpod, and there's like, okay, I saw these two orcas, and now Scarlet is dead, and TokiTV gave birth to a calf that did not live, and these are TokiTV's families, her relations, and I said, I can't not do anything. I'm just going to add another thing to all the other things that I'm campaigning on, and we can all do something. So please, I ask everybody to please do, ramp it up. We've got to ramp this up for the southern residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Someone put on here a new spark has been lit. That's good. And take that little flame and make a whole bunch of other sparks. And someone who's been a little quiet today, but definitely not quiet in terms of spreading awareness. Christina, anything you want to share with us today?
Yeah, I want you all to do everything that everyone else is saying, but I also want you to get your neighbor that you say hi to when you get your mail, or your person that cuts your hair. I mean, because we need everyone right now, okay? Not just you writing a letter. You need to get other people to write a letter. That's what we need to do. Have a postcard party, a writing party, whatever, anything. And like, yeah, Brandy, she's rocking it. She's got her postcards in her bag, you know, and that's what you got to do. You just have to be ready to go, and just whoever you talk to, just, you know, and if they're not interested, that's fine. Just move on to the next person. Don't get discouraged or whatever, because some people are going to be like, oh, I don't have time, or, you know, oh, I don't care, whatever, you know, but usually people care. Most of the time they care and they want to help. So that's how they can help, because we really need the mass amounts of people to write the letters and make the calls, but mostly write the letters on the postcard. Okay. I love you all. Thank you.
Love you too, Christina. Thank you. It reminds me, so Resident Orca is going to be showing, which is just crazy and cool. But here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is 45 minutes from me. So I'm been spreading awareness and having conversations, and, you know, so people can go there, because we're in New Mexico. They're going to be like, what is this showing of a whale? You know, but anyone who knows me obviously knows about it. So whether the theater's full of my family or not, we're going to pack it and make sure that people here start having those conversations that they may not, because they haven't seen it. They don't know about it, you know? And so anyway, just wanted to share that. So Resident Orca, anyone who's in New Mexico, call me, get with me, and be there on Friday the 18th at 4 p.m. at the Santa Fe International Film Festival. Super excited about that. Okay, and then I will, oh, look at Ma. Ma's full of fireworks. Hey, that's cool. Peggy's got something else to share real quick.
Activist pack at the film screening, please.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Activist pack. You can even just leave those posters, a couple of posters, and the QR code on a table. And yeah.
You got it, Peggy. I will put those out. Thank you.
I hope you will rally some volunteers to help you, because I know that helps a lot. Yep. Yeah. And
it doesn't matter where you are.
I'm sorry? Wherever you are, everybody.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm at any movie theater.
Yeah. And I decided, because I asked a couple friends to do the postcards, and they're like, what do we say? And they're like, how do you fit that into a little postcard? So I basically wrote out 2 sentences to make it really easy for people to put at least these 2 sentences down to President Joe Biden. And of course, anybody who wants those, I can send this to you. Yeah, it's just, it takes, okay, it's very fast and easy to just say, here, write this, and anything else you want to write, but make sure you write these 2 sentences about reaching the dams.
Awesome. Thanks, Peggy.
Yeah, thank you, Annette. It'll be great to see how many postcards you get at the screening, and everybody else who goes to Southern Resident. Yeah.
Also, Resident Arc is going to be at Red Nation Film Festival in November in LA. So I'll share more of that information.
Yeah, please do. Red Nation Film Festival.
Yeah, Red Nation International Film Festival, and I think it's like, I'm gonna say it wrong, but I think it's November 13th is when Resident Orca is showing, which is a Wednesday in the evening. So yes, you Californians, stay tuned. We'll get more information out for that too. Ma?
Yeah, just want to basically reiterate what everybody said, but, you know, come on, Florida, come on, Miami in particular, you know, this is Toki's family, and most people know about Toki, but they don't know about Toki's family. Just the other week, I went to my local cardiologist, and he seen the bag that you sent me, Annette, and also my Toki tattoos.
Cool.
And obviously started to engage in the conversation and basically gave him a quick lesson in what was happening to Toki's family. So, Dr. Bella, if you're watching, as you mentioned, please get everybody you know, tell everybody, all your patients, and I know you said you would, but everyone and anyone, please pass the information on, and yeah, let's get more and more people writing these postcards. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ma, for reminding me of that. My doctor the other day was in tears and asked me if he could hug me before I left, because he asked me about my tattoos, and we started talking about Toki. So I can call him and tell him to go to the film festival as well, and give him an activist pat. So thanks for reminding me of that. Deb Cruz.
I'm going to be wrestling for a while with my anger, but I would like to put out there that while you're doing all of this contacting with all of our officials and stuff, to also take a quiet minute and reach out to the orcas themselves.
Deb Cruz. Love you.
Always. Always.
All right, Howard, we're ending with you.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. You're all an inspiration, and I feel your energy, and I'm energized by it. So this is really, really valuable. It like nurtures my soul when I need it most. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I think it's appropriate to end. Shirley Bob sang a song, and it's Look at Me. And if that's not what they were trying to get across to everybody this last week, is absolutely look at them. You guys look at what we're doing.
See what they're going through. Yeah.
Thank you guys. I love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Okay. And don't forget to register for that event. That'll be good.
Great.
Well,